Yo, yo, yo. I think this is day 93 and 94. Um, I wanted to talk about kind of. So yesterday was release day. I probably should have done a release day kind of talk about what's kind of going on that happened on release day. Um, but I didn't, and I'm sorry for that. Today and release day kind of have similar vibes, kind of, which is interesting, and it's a pretty good idea to why in which these days are together. And I was just about to do some music marketing stuff. I just came back from work, and what I kind of realized is, as before I was about to do music marketing, so I was gonna do music marketing and then do this video. But then I thought to myself, oh, yeah, these 2 days have been really bad days. These 2 days have been really bad days. Let's make up for it. That's what I thought to myself in my head. And then as I said that to myself, I immediately thought, what constitutes a good and a bad day, right? I like to look at things through kind of arguments that I already agree with, and to see if that in turn correlates to the argument I'm talking about, right? So one example is the way in which I say now that the outcome of a day, the product of what I make, doesn't constitute to whether it's a good week or not. I think I spoke to this in a couple days ago where I said how me making 4 songs last week and finishing the recording of another one does not constitute it being a good week, right? And I still stand by that, because although it on paper means, yes, I have had a good week in terms of productivity wise, output, right? Output wise. If I had worked harder the week before, but nothing came out of it, would that constitute to a bad week or a good week? In an argument where, oh, nothing came out of it, then it has to be a bad week. No, nothing came out of it, so it has to be a bad week. What premise does that mean? Because surely it's what you can control in terms of the output, the work you've put in, rather than the product of what's happened, right? And I think it's so different when you're making music. I agree if it's a very kind of linear, a linear kind of task you have to do, where there's a work that needs to be done and a completion, right? Say if it's like an Excel spreadsheet or like a math problem, even something like that where there is an answer to it. I guess, yes, the output would be the idea of finishing the problem, the algorithm, or finishing the task on a spreadsheet. Yes, that constitutes to whether it's a good week, right? Sure. But with something like music and how creativity works, right? I wrote 4 songs, as I don't want to keep saying this, whatever. But one of them took 10 minutes. Second one took 2 days. The third one took a day. And the fourth one took, like, over the course of it, like 3 weeks, because the bridge was written then, right? So then it comes down to, well, they all have different time frames, right? 4 songs were written, but they, as I said, one was written in a day, one was written in 2, one was written in 20 minutes, one was written in 4 weeks. So that proves to me that I can't judge my my good on bad weeks, or whether I wrote a song, or you know, or I wrote 2 or 3 songs, or this happened or this happened, because music and creativity wise, creative arts, whatever you want to call it, it's such a, you know, I don't know what the word for it is. I don't know, a non-linear kind of piece of work. Like, I mean, it took Kendrick 5 years to come back from Damn. Just because of he had to experience life. He had to, kind of take a step back from the music and then come back with an absolute masterpiece that is Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Like, that's just how music is. And I think the last 2 days have been kind of this idea of, oh, they've been bad days, right? And I think, I mean, I know what it's down to. I know how my mind works by now with music. It's down to the fact that I haven't had like a specific task to like grab onto, to latch onto these last 2 days, because I had to sort out the release of the song that came out yesterday. I had to fully fixate on the marketing side, the kind of content side of that, and it was all done by yesterday, right? And it was kind of that moment of, what do I do? Because I'm usually so, well, I'm not so good at, but I'm usually like, good's not the word. I'm usually just used to waking up and knowing what I'm doing that day. I usually think about it the day before, or I think about it in the morning, what I'm going to do that day, and I just knuckle down and do it forever, how many hours, 8-10 hours. And that's kind of what I'm doing for the day. And in my head, how my mind operates, that's, oh yes, you're having a good day because you're contributing towards your purpose, towards what you are doing what you're meant to be doing, right? But when there's no concrete task I'm meant to be doing, it's almost like my mind's like, what's going on, right? So for example, I say that these 2 days are bad days, but that's only because I didn't have a set task, right? I didn't have a set like work on this song, edit these social medias. I didn't have like a big bulky task to do, because the reason why I'm not recording is because it was, at the moment, I was working today, right? Release day was yesterday, so I had to focus on the release of the song. And then Friday, Saturday, so Friday, Saturday, I'm going to be recording. But that's why I didn't record today or yesterday. So then in my head, it's, oh, you've had bad days. But that's only because I haven't had a set task. And also yesterday and today, I was recording a live take of my song. And I'm just so meticulous when I'm recording live performances on my music for social media. Just because, I don't know, I want it to sound the way I want it to sound. And I was getting so frustrated with myself. Oh, why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? And then today, which I actually think really encapsulates this whole kind of way of thinking, the way I kind of operate at the moment. So I probably did it for about an hour and a half, recording live performances for the new song that came out, Selfish. And it was coming towards the latter stages of the recording, and this was like 15 minutes before I had to leave for work, and I still didn't have a good take. I was like, damn, what's going on? I was getting really annoyed at myself. I was saying to myself like, oh, you're useless. If you don't get a good take before you go to work, you're useless. You're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. And then I did one, and then my first reaction was, wow, you finally did it. Well done. Look how long that took you. You're useless. So no matter the result, no matter what I did, if I did or didn't do it, the way I perceived myself was still bad, right? You would think you would think that, you know, in a kind of binary kind of idea, that if I was happy with it, if I completed the task I was frustrated with, I would be happy with myself. No, I had the same reaction. I had the same. I was just so unimpressed. I was just like, "Wow, you finally did it, you useless." Blah blah blah. And it's like, when I can't win, essentially, like I'm like, yeah, I did, yeah. Um, which I found interesting. I wouldn't say I'm surprised by it, just because I'm kind of used to um, my train of thought, my way of thinking. So I wouldn't say I'm surprised by that, but I do think that that kind of encapsulates how I'm thinking at the moment, how I'm operating at the moment. And then it's interesting because, like, if me not having a set task, or me not having like a quote unquote like real, I wouldn't even say it's not productive, because I still did stuff today and yesterday, right? But if that constitutes to a bad day, then that would be me claiming that my days are only good and bad depending on whether I have a task to do with music, or I have a task that aligns my music, right? Above all, it's claiming that the only way I can have a good day is if I'm doing something with music. I cannot have a good day if I stray away from music. That is what that statement is saying, right? Because it's assuming that the only way for me to have the because it's a bad day is because I did not work towards a task on music that day. I didn't work towards a hard task. I didn't get a lot done on music. That constitutes a bad day in my entire, like, the entire day, right? Because I wasn't referring to, oh, it's been a bad day for music. I'm referring it to the whole day in its entirety, right? So with that statement, that concludes that the only way for me to have a good day is if I'm working 8-10 hours on music on a specific task. Nothing else, right? I could, I don't know, I could do something. Something could happen to me outside of music, right? You know, say when I'm going to work, you know, I hear a good song. Obviously, that's still music, but it's not towards my music. On the way to work, I hear a good song. On the way to, or at work, I have a good meal, or I have a good time joking around with my friends. Oh no, because it's not that. Because it's not. It's a bad day. This can't be a good way of thinking. And yes, I do understand what I was kind of thinking, like, at that time. Oh, it's been a bad day. But a couple days ago, yesterday, sorry, I was saying to myself how I felt a bit. All I keep saying to myself is that I need to be better. That's all I keep saying to myself, no matter what. I'm always so fired up and so angry at myself. I'm always displaying a sense of hatred towards myself for not doing this, for not doing that. But it's never a, wow, you wrote 4 songs. Wow, you worked 8 hours straight on a song non-stop. Wow, you made that song. You created that song and now it's on Spotify. Look at the song. It's never that. It's always what I should be doing rather than what I have been doing. It's just so I don't know. Like, This is another good example. On Saturday's my birthday, and I'm trying to figure out ways on how to get the gym in because I don't want to miss a day of I don't want to miss a day of going to the gym. Because in my head, oh, I'm not progressing. Oh, that's a bad day. Oh, this or that. And it's like, what? When is enough? And like, I don't know. And the thing is, no matter what I say, it won't change a thing. So if anything, the awareness is a bad thing because it's not even an awareness in terms of I'm aware of it, I am going to change it. It's a I am aware of it. I'm aware of this toxic. I wouldn't even say it's toxic, but I'm aware of this frame of mind, but I'm still gonna keep doing it. So that's probably the worst way of doing it because if I wasn't aware of it and I was still doing it, to an extent it's not too bad because I'm not aware. I don't know. Like I'm always in a funny mood during release day. I'm a lot better. I think I said this before. I'm a lot better than I was on release day. I don't know. I would just kind of be I'd be in a weird state. And yesterday I was in another weird state. But that wasn't really because of the release day. That was just more of, I didn't know what to do. I couldn't record because, as I said before, I didn't really want to record. I don't really like recording in one day. I like to record in like 2 or 3 day batches just because it's like a nice chunk. Obviously I will record in 1 days, like just 1 day and then I'm working the next day. But so I was like, I don't really want to record when it's release day. That is, no, I can't be doing that. I got to be focusing on the release of the song. And then it was, yeah, so then I was just kind of miserable in the fact that I was very frustrated in the fact that I couldn't sing. I wasn't very good at doing the live performances of the song, which I did have good takes. I was just in a weird mood where I was critical of everything. I probably had like 4 or 5 good takes where I could have recorded. I could have edited and posted and it would have been fine. So, I don't know. I just find it funny how I constitute these days as bad days when not really, like, I don't know, it's weird. Just the only thing I just keep saying to myself. Just got to be better. I think there's a video on this channel. Let me see if I can find the account. If I not find the account, find the video. And I think I come back from like, I think it was like from a night out. Or like, I don't know where it was from. Right? And in those 2 minutes, I'm just saying to myself, I need to be better. And it's like, where did that come from? Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. Obviously, I don't think I necessarily changed them. I always come back to the same conclusion of I wouldn't change this mindset. I always come back to that conclusion of, yes, I'm aware of this, but I'm aware this is bad, I'm aware this is bad, I'm aware this is bad. You know, notice that that's a bad day, but it's because of that. But then I always come back to the fact that the reason I'm at this point is because of this. Is because of what I've been talking about for the last 20 minutes. It's because of how hard I am on myself. It's because of, you know, how I I myself consider good or bad days depending on how much work I get done music wise. All of these kind of, and I get headaches if I don't work, and I get this and I get that, and I'm always chasing progression. And then I always come back to the same conclusion of the reason you're seeing progression now is because of that incessant mindset of what I've been talking about. So then all I do is just get into this loop of being aware of what I'm doing, is whether it's good or bad, but then noticing that it's the reason why this song nearly has 1,000 streams in a day or in 2 days. It's the reason why this time last year I was on like 3,000 monthly listeners and I reached 60,000 that same year, right? So it's an interesting debate to whether it's a bad thing or not. But yeah, I don't know. And I feel like that's the conclusion I come to every single time I have this kind of moment of awareness, moment of self-reflection, is I don't know, because this is all I know, all right? And this is it's the only way I can function at the moment. So there's not like, oh, there's an alternative, because I don't want an alternative. So what's the point of this awareness? Yeah. So that was release day. Yeah, I had no release day blues, which is good, because usually I do, like I've said before. But it was more just frustration that I couldn't sing a certain part of a song. That was on release day, the song that had just been released. But yeah, really looking forward to recording tomorrow. Just getting back to it, really. I'm going to a concert tomorrow evening. C Rose, who's an amazing singer-songwriter, they're just so good. They've made so many songs that I'm just in absolute awe of. And I feel like it's very much this kind of style and sound that I gravitate towards, and feel like a lot of my songs that I'm recording at the moment align with that style of music. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I think it'll be good. So yeah, plan the gym tomorrow, record throughout the day, and then concert. Should be fun. But I just keep saying to myself, I need to be better. And every time I say that, I feel like I peel a new layer, and I do become better. I feel like it kind of, I push myself even more than I have been. So yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. Yeah. It's always an interesting kind of, I spoke about it 24 minutes, and I just always come to the same conclusion of just still being kind of lost, still being kind of yeah, up in the air, which is interesting. Also, I'm going to start, if you've watched more than one video here, you would know that I read a lot of philosophy. Well, that's kind of what I've been reading a lot at the moment. Yeah, and I have an account, I have a second account called Time Will Always Pass on Instagram, and I am going to kind of have like a little diary entry, journal entry every single week. I'm going to post it on that account, and I also do it on like a mailing list way, so you can get it on an email. Eventually I'll have it on my website as well, my music website, which will be cool. And every week I'm just kind of journal and diary entry just about things that I'm thinking about. Sometimes it will be philosophical because, you know, whatever I'm reading will kind of lead that discussion. But sometimes it will just be about whatever's been on my mind. Whether it's the process of recording a song, writing a song, marketing a song, it will all be there. And that's why I've got this laptop here. Just got a new laptop, so every week I will be sometimes I might be in a coffee shop, in a French coffee shop like Albert Camus was, or I'll be at home writing it. Yeah, I never know how to say it. Albert Camus. He's French, so I'm assuming it's Camus. But yeah, anyways, I haven't read actually too many. I've read what's it called? What's the book from? Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. I've read The Myth of Sisyphus from Albert Camus, and I'm like 4/5 of reading the Nicomachean Ethics from Aristotle, and I'm now reading The Birth of Tragedy from Friedrich Nietzsche. So I'm very beginner in terms of my philosophy, but I do find it really interesting, and I do kind of think it. I feel like during these journals, these episodes, I am like the way I'm kind of articulating my thoughts are becoming more and more like what I'm reading, and I feel like that's the way in which I'm journaling as well. Sometimes I journal at work, and I notice that when I write, it's very similar to the way in which, I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm writing like Albert Camus, or, you know, because the stuff he's writing is crazy, okay? And apparently he's like one of the easier ones to understand. Aristotle is very difficult to understand as well. But what I'm saying is, the more I'm kind of reading philosophy and the more I'm understanding it, the more I'm kind of articulating and writing, same thing, the more I'm kind of displaying my thoughts in that manner, which is interesting. But yeah, I really want to do that. I've always wanted to do that. So yeah, it will be on my second account on Instagram, Time Will Always Pass. It's in the bio of my main Instagram account if you follow me on Instagram. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. It'll be posted there. It'll be posted on my mailing list. And yeah. Anyways, I'm going to bed. Going to bed because I value sleep. Because I'm cutting, because I'm on a diet. I've been seeing so many fitness influencers and all these people saying how important sleep is, and before I was getting 4 hours sleep, I was sleeping 4 hours and then my alarm would go off and then I'd go back to bed, and it was ridiculous. So now I literally just go to bed and I naturally wake up, and usually it's about 7-8 hours. So yeah, I feel like as I've done that, I mean I've been doing it for like 4 or 5 days, but I have noticed a big difference in terms of I feel leaner. I feel like I look leaner. My gym workouts, I'm so much better. My skin looks better. Like, I just feel like, and my kind of train of thought, my mental clarity is a lot better. Yeah, I just feel like sleep was, I spoke about this, again, I just speak about the same things over and over again, but I spoke about this like 5 days ago, how one of my biggest things is to improve sleep, and I have been doing that. I've been taking like very extra, I've been taking a lot more consideration to my sleep and a lot more care into it, whereas before I wasn't. I was working tirelessly, and then I wouldn't even wind down, I would just sleep. So the quality of sleep was just cooked. And I've even read a book about sleep ages ago, so I should know better. But yeah, why did I say it? But yeah, why did I say it like that? Anyways, yeah, half an hour. Damn, I do yap, huh? Okay, goodbye. Yeah, looking forward to record tomorrow. I'll probably record. I want to say vocals. I want to say vocals of someone. I think someone vocals is on my to-do list tomorrow. I was thinking about recording the guitar part for, the song's called At Least. I think it's gonna be called that. I don't know, working title. But the bridge isn't done yet, so I don't really want to be recording a song where it's not fully completed. So I'll probably be recording vocals tomorrow, which is the most fun. So yeah, I bet you guys to sleep. Big day tomorrow, and yeah, goodbye.